எல்லோருக்கும் மாலை வந்தனங்கள். Very good evening to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed my privilege to be here in Toronto with you and be with you at this Gala Awards dinner. I'm certainly no stranger to Toronto. I've been coming here every year since 1982. And Toronto is like a second home to me. I love this place. And I've also had the opportunity of seeing places like Mississauga at the end of the town and see what was beyond that as literally a green field. And this very own Markham, which used to be literally a farming field. And it was very heartening every year as I come to see this great city grow exponentially and from my limited understanding, fueled by just one thing, the power of immigration supported by the power of diversity. And I think it's a great lesson for all of us around the world to take note of the success of this city, and in particular, the community of Canadian Tamils who have chosen to make this their home and demonstrate your tremendous success in whatever field you have chosen over the last 3 or so decades. It's indeed tremendous. I'm going to confine my comments to maybe not more than 5 or 7 minutes, perhaps in 3 areas. First, to respond to the keynote speaker who spoke about the need for gender equality and diversity. With deep humility, ma'am, let me tell you from where I come from, having run 2 of the largest banks for 13 years, no less than 40% of the boards in those 2 banks comprises of females. And it has been a tremendous encouragement and stimulation when you have a female who plays the role of a mother, a spouse, and a board member, executive. The ability of balancing, multitasking, you just cannot compare it to a male. And I am the first to admit that. I'm very proud to see that. And I wish we see more of that. The second comment I would like to make is, having heard the various comments from the various speakers before me and looking at some of those delightful videos about our homeland, I would just like to focus on 2 areas as to perhaps what I see from Sri Lanka, as to what you, the success stories, can do in capacity building. You know, Sri Lanka, I think, has come out of what we call low-income status into what we call a middle-income nation. And I think gone are the days of handouts and subsidies. What we really need is connectivity to global markets and empowerment. And I'd just like to throw out an invitation in 2 areas of capacity building. The first is, this CTCC has completed 26 years of excellence. What you can do is to identify the 3 chambers in the north and east, the Yal chamber, the more recent Kilinochchi chamber, and the eastern chamber, perhaps in Batticaloa, and try to enter into a twinning arrangement. Because what those traders and members of those chambers need is strong alliance. I represent the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce, which is 179 years old, and will hopefully take over the chair on the 29th of June. And we have extended our hand of friendship to these chambers. And we are working very close with them. But let me, being a fellow Tamil, tell you that when you, as fellow Tamil members of the community, extend your hand of capacity building, it can even be stronger. So it is one thing. Try to share your best practices, which you have done here with those chambers. They need that. And the second area, which I think is a bigger thing, when I saw the various success stories of people who got recognized today, I came here with a more close myopic view, thinking we're going to see a lot of doctors, engineers, the traditional people getting recognized. But when I saw the diversity of talent which has got recognized, let me also tell you from where I come from, the very same pool of talent is still there. What it needs is not a handout. What it needs is hand-holding and access to markets. And I'm going to I need your time. Just listen to me for perhaps another 3 to 4 minutes. I'm going to give you maybe 4 or 5 examples of best-in-class Sri Lankan talent in R&D and innovation in the ICT sector, which has taken center stage globally, which you probably are not aware. The first is a company in Sri Lanka which is providing high-intensity sensors to none other than GE, GM, Ford, and Toyota in those cars. This company is called Lanka Harness. The second is, most of you or all of you would have heard of this department store in the US called Macy's. You now have, 3 years ago, Macy's launched something called the Magic Dressing Room, where you can go into one of their stores and stand across a giant mirror where your reflection is captured, your profile is captured, and you press a button and you can pick any of the clothes and it wraps around you and you get a virtual image of what it looks like. And the very next year, Macy's launched the same concept online. So you go into their website, you capture your silhouette virtually, and then you order. That philosophy, to some of you technical people, is called augmented reality. And that particular innovation was done south of Colombo in a place called Navala by a Bharata Tamil innovator from Silicon Valley who has 120 scientists working for him in Sri Lanka. I will give you the name of the company. You can Google it, Zone 24/7. And then you have another company, a brilliant scientist who has about 300 engineers working for him in Sri Lanka. He specializes just in one industry, hospitality, because Sri Lanka, with tourism coming in, is very, very important. And he has a world-class complete solution in reservations using artificial intelligence, analytics, none less than the Emirates Airlines and the Royal Caribbean Cruises use his solution. That company is called CodeGen. Sri Lankan talent. And then, the most important thing, there is another company which is now providing, for some of you technical people, using something called open systems, open source computing. They use something called API management, Internet of Things, and none less than the state of Arizona, London Transport, Uber, and eBay use their applications. And this company had the foresight about 2 years ago to open a branch office in Jaffna to try and encourage Jaffna computing and engineering graduates to come in and work with them. If they can do this to encourage Sri Lankan talent to export to the world, why can't you? Because every one of you here, from what I could see, you're not just successful in Canada, but the technology and the innovation you have done is world class. So why not, no handouts, why not engage? There are roughly 800 IT graduates at any given time for the 4-year computing program of the University of Jaffna. And then you have the new engineering faculty for the north, which is built in a township called Ariviyal Nahar, just south of Kilinochchi, producing engineering graduates and computing ICT graduates. They are hungry. They are willing. What you can give to them is open access to markets, not help them to migrate. Sri Lanka needs talent. Sri Lanka needs workers. What you can do is to create a bridge, make use of their talent, and by doing that, give them more empowerment to control and conclude their own lifestyle in a more strong way back home. That is the way you can give something back to that country to see the country develop. And I hope you will take this message seriously and partner with us in Sri Lanka not to build a socially dependent state, but to build an entrepreneurially focused new Sri Lanka. I recently had the opportunity walking 674 kilometers from Point Pittu, north of Hartley College, from the sea, the coastal line, right through to the southernmost tip of Sri Lanka in Dondra Head. Over 28 days, it was to raise money for a cancer hospital in the south, $5 million. If you Google today, www.trail.com, you will see at this point in time, 82% of the $5 million has been raised. I'm saying that for a couple of reasons. I didn't walk there for anybody else. I trained, I lost 20 kilos before I started to walk. And during the 28 days, I saw Sri Lanka, being a CEO of a large bank, I saw Sri Lanka through a complete different pair of eyes, walking. And during the 28 days, I was so happy that I'm still in Sri Lanka and proud to be a Sri Lankan. But secondly, I also saw something else. During those 28 days, almost 100,000 people walked during various phases in this walk to support. And what you really saw is, whether it was Kilinochchi, Kanagarayankulam, Kokavil, it didn't matter, or Devinuvara, you had Tamils, Sinhalese, Burghers, Christians, Muslims, Hindus, all joining for one cause, for the cancer. But eventually, the purpose of cancer became second. The primary object was walk together, unite, and heal. We heard some of the speakers speak about reconciliation. I think during those 28 days, what we saw was, in our own version, healing through walking. I was very much proud to have been a part of the process. So I hope that some of these comments gives you a different perspective from somebody who has been living in Sri Lanka, having returned back from the UK in '92. For the last so many years, I've been living there. And I hope that you will extend your hand of friendship and help to strengthen that country, not through poverty alleviation, but by entrepreneur development. Thank you very much. And let me wish every one of you a tremendous success as you forge forward in your own endeavors along with the Chamber. Thank you very much.